The sober state of body-mind is where it's at, folks, because it implies total acceptance of what is. And in a state of acceptance, total acceptance of what is, of the present moment, there is no need. See, feeling lack and accepting are two mutually exclusive things. You can't feel lack and be in a state of true acceptance of the moment. Like, this is it. It is what it is. I accept. I am where I am, and everything is where it is, and it's all beautiful and it's all perfect. And in that moment, truthfully being in that state, there can't be a feeling of lack, there can't be a feeling of need. So even the notion of feeling the need, the desire to consume a certain substance inside your body doesn't even really exist in a state of acceptance, in a state of true total acceptance of the moment. And that can only be achieved truthfully, organically. That's a good word. Organically, in a sober state, in a sustained way. You could certainly get there with ingesting something like psychedelics or marijuana, and you will get there. You will be like, wow, everything is perfect. I accept myself, I accept I accept self and others, I accept all of it as it is. But that wears off pretty quickly. If it's mushrooms, that's wearing off in 5 hours. If it's marijuana, roughly the same, depending on the strain and the potency and all that. But that wears off. The only problem is it leaves you with a craving, with a craving for that state, and you mistake the map for the territory. Meaning, let's say you take psychedelics and it shows you the possibility of that state of peace and acceptance, and it shows you the possibility. Now you mistake the map for the territory because the map is the psychedelic, but the territory isn't the psychedelic. The territory is you. It's you. It's awareness. It's your natural default state. Once you're more and more realized in your true nature, that's you. So you mistaken the map for the territory. You think, well, I love mushrooms, I love LSD because they give me that feeling, so let me do more of them. I microdosed for 2 years. And prior to that, I was experimenting with psychedelics, heavy doses and heavy trips, for also 2 years. So I basically experimented with psychedelics for a good 4 years, pretty much on. There was no such thing as off, okay? And at some point, I made the mistake of misinterpreting that this isn't the map. The psychedelics themselves are not the map, or they're not the territory, but they're only the map. They're only showing me the possibility. And so more and more, I come to realize that for me to sustain those states of acceptance and peace, I would have to do it in a sober state, because everything is perfect. And it's funny because psychedelics showed me that. They showed me like, hey, okay, all right, you realize the perfection of all things. You realize that you don't even really need food. So you don't even really need anything. So, all right, it's time to do it on your own now. It's time to, you can walk now. You don't need the crutch anymore. You could walk. You understand. You understand that presence is the ultimate state of being, acceptance and presence. And you understand that you cannot rely on us long enough to give you that. So now it's time for you to go walk on your own. Now, using external substances, ingesting substances inside your body also has negative side effects, primarily dehydration. Almost all substances dehydrate you. So look at the word substance. Substance. That's clever use of language. Substance. It's a substance. It's not the ultimate stance. You're by ingesting a substance, you're already taking a substance. You took a substance. You took a substance. You took a substance. Take that in. Take that in. You're already in a compromised state. And the first thing I can think of is dehydration. All substances dehydrate you, including psychedelics. They dehydrate you. Marijuana in all forms, whether you smoke it, you ingest it in a cookie, in an edible, it dehydrates you. It sucks. It actually sucks the life out of you. That's why you feel tired the next day. Out of whenever you smoke marijuana or you ingest it, if you wake up, you're groggy. Same thing with psychedelics. You're dehydrated. You just don't know it. You're dehydrated. It sucks. I mean, what is life? Life is the four elements, the dance of the four elements. The dance of water and sunlight. Water and sunlight and air and earth. And we know all living organisms depend on water and sunlight for them to grow, to prosper. So you're literally sucking the life out of yourself whenever you ingest a substance. You're sucking the life out of yourself. It's sucking water out of you. So, and it's increasing your heart rate. Psychedelics increase your heart rate. Coffee does the same thing. So you're having to breathe more. So you're taking more breaths per minute. You're hyperventilating, and that's also compromising the balance of the four elements. You see? And folks, it took me years and years and years of experimenting with drugs. Not just psychedelics. Before psychedelics, it was weed and coffee. Yeah, coffee. It took me years and years, and for me to start to realize these things. And of course, I'm a huge fan of psychedelics. Huge fan. I'll continue to make videos. I'll continue to talk about them. I love psychedelics. I still, from time to time, will take a little bit if I feel like, okay, maybe there's a teaching there for me. But no longer on a regular basis, and certainly no longer at the frequency that I was doing them with. I think they're allies. Drugs are allies. Even coffee can be used as an ally to show you something. To show you, wow, I like the state of focus. How can I do more of that? How can I be more focused? How can I have this? Because, it's nice. You drink coffee. I used to drink coffee and go to the gym, and I'd be so focused. And it's nice. I was present. They all show you presence. In one way or another, they all show you presence. Weed, same thing. Right? You kick back and you're present. You're here. And so, but again, they come at a cost. Dehydration, dependency, creating the illusion of lack. Because then without the substance, you feel like I'm lacking. Let me go and smoke weed again. Let me go and take psychedelics. Let me microdose. Right? Let me microdose. Or I'll just drink coffee every day. And that creates the illusion of lack, because you don't really need anything. You can be present in your sober state. The difference is, once you cultivate that from your day-to-day via various means, meditation and contemplation and reflection and spending time in nature, which brings you into the present moment, and all kinds of different practices that you could do in a sober state, you end up cultivating that naturally, organically, and you realize, man, like I don't actually need anything. But now you're not paying the price. You realize, wow, I've been living under the illusion of lack. There is no lack. There is no need. If I am present, there is no lack. There is no need. I am here. I am perfect. I am whole. And so is everything. And you're not paying the price. You're not paying the price, that the physical and mental price of dehydration. And then the mental price is dependency, illusion, dependency. God, you're God. God doesn't want to feel like it's depending on anything, because God is everything. God is whole. So deep down, you don't want to depend on any substance, because by depending on a substance, you're taking a substance. You already descended from the heavenly perfect state. The minute you ingested a substance, you took a substance automatically, right away. instantaneously. You took a substance. So, in my opinion, the best way to use drugs, substances, is with the intention of learning, with the intention of, all right, I'm gonna take you now. I will take all my precautions. I will hydrate myself. I will sleep more. Like I did LSD recently, and I said because you always feel tired the day after, no question about it. You first of all, your heart rate goes up, so again you're compromising the air element by breathing more than you need, and it's dehydrating you, it's sucking water out of you, so you feel tired the next day, no question about it. And you plug into so much energy, your nervous system plugs into so much energy, it's not used to it. Your nervous system in its organic state is not used to having all this energy. What goes up must come down. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You see? So you feel tired the next day. But this time, because I knew that this is the cycle, I said, well, next day, I took my precautions. I said, next day, you're just gonna lay around in bed, outside your house, and just let the day pass. Which I did, because you're taking one for the team almost, but I wanted to learn something. That's why I took it. So, in my opinion, you take any substance, you know there's a price to pay, and you're ready to pay it. But you say, okay, what am I learning here? How is it going to teach me? How am I going to incorporate this into my day-to-day life, into my sober state of consciousness? What am I going to integrate? What is the lesson? And so I think that's the best way to use substances. Take a substance, when you take a substance, and pay the price. Coffee will take coffee will dehydrate you and will take energy from the rest of the day, and will also carry into the next day. In my opinion, that's the best way to use substances. I'm still a huge fan of psychedelics, particularly because in such a deep sleep state of mass consciousness, of collective consciousness, desperate times call for desperate measures. So because people are desperately asleep, so deep into the sleep state, that perhaps there is something drastic that needs to happen. For me, certainly was. I was in a deep sleep state. I truly was. I was bought into the materialism. I had posters of all the sexy cars you can think of. Lamborghini in a sexy house and mansion. And it said, what did it say on it? It said, justification for higher education. And I had a poster of Scarlett Johansson, the sexy, the trophy girlfriend dream, the trophy girlfriend, wifey, or that whole, all the illusion of materialism. I was so bought into that, man, and I needed a rude awakening, and it came in the form of psychedelics. And I'm very grateful for psychedelics, and I could not imagine my life without the intervention, the necessary, needed, abrupt intervention of psychedelics in my life. So I do understand that desperate times call for desperate measures, and I will continue to advocate for the responsible use of psychedelics. And part of the responsible use of psychedelics is exactly that. It's not depending on them. It's not depending on any substance for that matter. And realizing that they're teachers, and I'm going to use them as teachers and as teachers. You see, and I understand there's a certain price every time I ingest a substance. I'm taking a substance, so I will pay for the price, and I will take the learnings and apply them into my day-to-day life. Because once you begin to reach these states more and more on your own, and you're like, whoa, you're just more present, you're more here. You're like, whoa, I don't need anything. Everything's perfect. Wow, well, fantastic. But now it isn't going around like, in my mind, the whole time I was microdosing, in my mind it was like, is this me? Am I going to be able to maintain this if I get off psychedelics? And the truth is, when I got off the microdosing, I went through some shit. Because it was you come down after 2 years of microdosing, on, no off. I mean, the off days were to reset the tolerance. You come back and you're like, wow, it's kind of boring here, This is kind of boring. You get a little bored. You're like, oh man, I'm a little bored here. Oh man, I feel down, And it took a little bit of time for me to bounce back and be like, okay, I'm going to start meditating. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so then the more and more you become present, the more you're like, yeah, this is me now. You just know deep down, that's me. Psychologically, psychically, oh, that's me. I'm pure presence, pure awareness. It's lovely here. It's beautiful. And I'm just going to continue to cultivate that part of me. That is the awareness, that is the presence, that is the acceptance, that is the seeing the perfection of everything. And yeah. So to go back, I went off a tangent that needs a resolution here. And the tangent is, so I think the reason why I even use psychedelics in the first place is because of the societies we've built. Damn reptilians. They're smart. They know how to cut you off from your true essence. They know how to cut you off, because the society that we're all grow up in is so mundane and boring and restrictive, and it goes against against nature. Basically, it disconnects you from nature. So if you're not getting your feet in the ground, if you're not getting some exposure to the sun, which very few people do, and when they do, they use sunscreen and all kinds of things. If you're not in contact with the 4 elements, then your life force is depleted, and you feel tired, exhausted, fatigued, depressed, anxious, and then you resort to a substance to make life less boring and less painful. Most people are living in pain, physical pain, from the foods they ingest, from lack of exposure to the elements, from lack of connection with nature. They live in pain, physical and psychological pain. And so what do? Then you use a substance. Before my first mushroom trip, I had never taken off my shoes other than on the sand in the beach, and just put them on the dirt, on the grass, on rocks, in the water. Never. That was the first time. Like, what the fuck are my shoes doing here? I was like at a waterfall, and I was like, what is this shirt doing here? I took off the shirt, I took off the shoes, and I took a shower under the waterfall, and it was beautiful. First truly connecting experience with the elements. So because of the society, the disconnection from the elements, the disconnection, because cities are electrical cages. So then what do? We resort to substances to make life more tolerable. Really is what it is, to make life more tolerable, plain and simple. And if we have a stable, healthy connection with the elements, and we live in harmony with nature, you would never feel the urge or the need to ingest a substance, unless every now and then, like for leisure, for just plain old celebration and leisure, not for psychedelics are supposed to be like a shamanic thing, used by shamans who are working to serve others. We shouldn't really need them. Even in a healthy society that is spiritually connected, why would you need psychedelics? You wouldn't really need them, but right now we need them. I will continue to advocate for the responsible use of psychedelics. We need them. The society is too sick. It's too miserable. People are too asleep. We need them. Plain and simple, we need psychedelics, even marijuana. Right? It's just the pitfall is, you use them and then, you get, if not physically, psychedelics are not physically addictive, but they're psychologically addictive. They're psychologically addictive because they put you in such a beautiful state. The most beautiful. Psychedelics have the highest vibration of all, plants or fungus, or they're vibrating like, you can't compare psychedelics to marijuana. Psychedelics are way up there in terms of vibration. You can't. So they put you in such a wonderful state, in the God state. They put you in the Godhead, and then you come back and you're like, man, like this is boring. You come back to society. You're in your apartment. You're surrounded, with all kinds of malevolent energies and people depressed and stuff, and that's why I started microdosing, because I was like, man, it's so boring here. Like, I'm back to this, and I was living in a city still, in an apartment building. I was like, man, I'm gonna microdose. And I microdosed, and I was like in a state of bliss. I was in a state of bliss for 2 years. And that's because, again, I was driving Uber and microdosing, taking LSD every day. And it just made life tolerable. I was in the middle of the city driving Uber, and And you know, like, it's depressing, it's winter, people are depressed around me, and you know, it made life, I'm so grateful. If I go back in time, I would not, even with this knowledge, I'd be like, no, I'm gonna microdose. No, I'm gonna microdose. I'm gonna take LSD. I'm gonna microdose, because it was just made life tolerable. But now I'm living this nice life here. God bless. Harmony with the elements. I'm barefoot all the time, shirtless all the time. I get in sunshine, water, elements, jungles, nature. You know, I'm aligned with my mission. I teach kids twice a week, and it's like actually fun, you know. And like, I wake up and I work from my bed, and then I go outside, work in the front porch, and it's like, it's wonderful. So now it's like, now when I take these things, because I got access to them, I'm very conscious now. I'm like, man, this is dehydrating me. You know, like, I'm feel dehydrated. I'm really tired the next day. My life force is depleted the next day. And I'm like, why am I taking them anymore? I don't even need them anymore. And then I meditate, and I'm just living like a life in harmony with nature. I'm like, I'm present, because I'm not living that boring ass life cut off from nature in an electrical cage anymore. So if we were all living in a life harmonious with nature, we wouldn't need these things. And when we took them, we would realize, like, I don't even need this. This is actually taxing me in a way. It's making me feel like I lack something, and it's dehydrating me, and it's this and that. But I understand why I had been involved with drugs all my life. First, it was coffee and marijuana. It was coffee and marijuana, you know, simultaneously, almost every day. And then it switched to psychedelics, and then it became, again, almost every day. Days, I take 2-3 days off for tolerance, and I go at it again to reset the tolerance. And when I moved here to Thailand, and I began to live this life, this what is otherwise a natural life, the way life ought to be lived, harmoniously with your all the other parts of yourself, nature. Then whenever I took these substances, I'm like, man, I don't feel so good. I wake up the next day, I'm dehydrated, I'm fatigued, because my life force got drained. Same thing with foods now. Like, I'm getting off the food drug in the breatharian transition process, slowly but steadily, because food is a drug, and yes, it is a substance, and it is a substance. Period. Even fruits, obstructions to what is already perfect. Just the least amount of obstruction is created via fruits, and then juices would be the better option, liquids, and ultimately, the breatharian, the ultimate breatharian state, which is just water, or very little water. At that point, you don't even need to drink it much, because you're so here, your acceptance, you're connected to all things, and so it's beautiful, and so I think meditation it's a foundation. It's very, very important. It is, when I begin to realize these things, is the more and more I meditate throughout the day, and the more I spend time in nature, the more I realize these things, and the more it just hits me on a deeper level, you see. So all that being said, I will continue to be an advocate of the responsible use of psychedelics for educational purposes, to learn, to get the teachings, and from time to time I'll engage in their use from time to time, whenever I feel like, okay, all right, let's see where I am at, because they show me where I'm at too, from time to time. But as a regular use, or like, even, it starts to make less and less sense. You do it in your sober state, you cultivate that on a daily basis, and it's sustainable, and it's long term, and there's no need. You realize everything is perfect. You realize it. So God bless you guys. I love you so much, and thank you to the Patreons. I love you guys so much for your support. And we have 31 Patreons at the time of making this video. God bless you guys. You guys are amazing. If you want to contribute to the community, you could donate as little as $2 a month on Patreon, or via PayPal. One-time donations, all in the description. Saeed Mobayed at Instagram. And until next time, may the force be with you.